Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the unboxing and have a first look at this Lenovo Vibe S1, and this is a review unit that was sent to me by Lenovo, and here it does not specify the pricing, but I've heard rumors that the pricing would be around 16 to 17,000. I'll have the links when the price is officially announced in the YouTube show notes, and I heard that this will be exclusive to Amazon this time. So let's just open this up, and this is a 5-inch smartphone by Lenovo, and let me just take this out, and it is powered by a MediaTek chipset. I'll talk about all the specs later on, and it also says that we should have a back cover and a film inside. So let's see, and this is the white color variant, but it's also available in the dark blue variant, and I have to say the dark blue variant is much better to look. And here it says that the SIM slot is hybrid, it accepts nano SIM, but you can use the second SIM slot as a SD card, and it has that unique dual camera setup. That's the unique thing about this device. So let's move, and if we have this screen guard, and if we move further down, we have the SIM ejector tool over here and some booklets. I won't open, that's boring stuff. And we have a USB cable, and this is the charger itself, and the rating is 5 volts at 1.5 amps, so it's a standard charger. So let me keep these things to the side and let's look at the handset itself. So here we have the Lenovo Vibe S1, and let me just take this out, protective cover and stuff, and let's peel this off. And we also have this back case that is pre-applied, so let's take that off so we get that for protection. So here we have this, and we can take this out. It says that the battery is not user replaceable, and it has a 2500 milliamp hour battery. And as you can see, the thing about this device is in looks, and it has that curved 2.5D Gorilla Glass, so it feels actually really good. But again, I have to stress, the dark blue variant looks actually very cool. So this is the handset itself, and it's fairly light at just 132 grams. And let me give you a physical overview. And this is again metallic, this is not plastic. It has the 3.5mm headphone jack, a secondary noise cancellation microphone. On this end, we have the volume rockers and the power button. And on the bottom, we have openings, but I have to check which one is the speaker. We have the micro USB slot, and on this end, we have the slot for the SIM card, and it's a hybrid slot. The second SIM slot can be used as a SD card. Regarding internal storage, it has 32 gigabytes of internal storage. So let me actually boot this up, and by the time it actually boots up, let me give you a configuration overview. This Lenovo Vibe S1 is powered by the MediaTek MT6N52 chipset, which is an octa-core processor clocked at 1.7 GHz. It has a 5-inch 1080p screen. It has Gorilla Glass 3 protection, 32 gigabytes of internal storage. It also has a micro SD card slot, 3 gigabytes of RAM, a 13 megapixel main camera, and it has actually dual front-facing camera. The main camera is an 8 megapixel shooter, and the secondary camera is a 2 megapixel shooter. I'll talk about the camera later on. And it has a 2500 milliamp hour battery, and it weighs at 132 grams. So I've set up this Lenovo Vibe S1, and in fact I've used it now for almost 4.5 hours. I've also put up my primary SIM in it. So let me give you an overview. And the first thing is, I've already added my Google accounts, but out of the box, if you look at, I took a screenshot actually, and I've taken a lot of pictures also. Out of that 32 gigabytes, we get 23.67 gigabytes of space free, and we can add a micro SD card. And if you go over here, we have these quick toggles over here. You can actually customize this if you want. If you hit this, you go to the settings, and again it runs on the Lenovo Vibe UI. And if you go to about the device, if you go to device info, as you can see, it's running on the Android version 5.0. So it's running on Lollipop, but this is not the latest version of Android Lollipop. So that is what it is, and as you can see, it's running on the MediaTek 8-core CPU, and it has 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let me just get out. And one thing that I have noticed is that if you go to display properties, here we actually have a lot of customization. For example, if you go to the display color balance, you can actually adjust the color temperature. For example, if you want that yellowish screen, you can go with that. Or we also have this custom mode, which I actually like, and here you can adjust it as per your liking. So that option is there. So that's a nice option. You can also adjust the saturation, and by default the smart brightness was not checked on. I would suggest that you mark the smart brightness option. Let's just go to the default mode and let's hit apply. So that option is there. And one thing that I've noticed is that it has these 3 touch type capacitive buttons. This is for the multitasking tray, home and back, but these are actually not backlit, so you have to be aware of that. Let's just go back. And again, it's this is the traditional Android settings that you get. And if you just go back, and in fact I've been using this device now for about 4.5 hours. So let's look at the battery stats. It's again too early to comment about the battery. As of now it's on 71%. It was at 100% when I put my SIM. And if you go to power consumption, and if you go to hardware, and we'll see the signal standby. For example, as you can see, it's 4 hours 21 minutes since I've put my SIM in this. And if you go to screen on time, it's 1 hour 36 minutes, and it's at 70%. So by my rough estimate, it should last easily for about 3.5 to 4 hours of SOT. Again, I'll be testing this device a lot more, and I'll talk about the battery life, etc. in my full review. There is some bloatware that is actually pre-installed. As you can see, there are some folders, and we have some of the extra apps that were pre-installed. For example, in tools we have the recorder and stuff. Another good thing is that it has voice recording with the dialer, so if you like that feature, that is there. But one thing that I have noticed is that you can uninstall some of the bloatware. If you go to the settings again and go to apps, let me actually show you that. Here are the apps, and as you can see, these are the check marks, for example, of the apps that we have. And let me actually just remove some bloatware. For example, let's say this Skype, etc. was preloaded. I don't like that. I don't want this. And for example, what else? This navigate option, for example, I've checkmarked those. And now I also don't want this Kureva music or whatever. I don't know what is that bloatware. And if you can just go over here, you can hit this uninstall, and it'll just remove those apps. So it can remove some of the bloatware, but some of the apps are not removable. For example, the share it, that option is not there. But most of the bloatware you can remove by this method. Let's just go back also. And in terms of web browsing, the performance was good. For example, let me open one more tab, and let's go to TechMeme. So this is the default keyboard that we get. That's the Android keyboard, and gives you haptic feedback whenever you type. And regarding the screen, again, the screen quality is good. It's a 1080p screen, and we can adjust the color temperature as I've mentioned. And even the touch response was very good, as you can see. So the screen quality is good. I have no problems regarding that. Even in terms of brightness, the brightness is adequate. For example, I'm on auto. If I remove that, this is with the full brightness. As you can see, it can go pretty bright. Let's just go back to the auto mode. So the screen quality was good. Viewing angles are nice. I also tested USB OTG functionality, and USB OTG functionality also works. And though it has this cutouts for 2 speaker, but the speaker is only on this right side. Let me actually show you that. I've inserted this USB OTG drive, and we have the file manager built in. And if you go here, let's go to external storage, and let's look at some of the files. For example, let's try to play this file, and we'll play with the default video player. Let me just play that. Yeah, as you can see, it's loud, but the speaker is only on this side. But in terms of the speaker loudness, as you can see, it's very loud. Let me just get out of that. So USB OTG functionality also works out of the box. And Lenovo is talking a lot about the camera on this phone. So let's also have a look about the camera. But before that, I just want to talk about the in-hand feel. And in terms of in-hand feel, the in-hand feel is actually very good, and it's also very light to hold. We have this slight curved back, and it has that Gorilla Glass, that is a 2.5D Gorilla Glass, so it looks actually very premium. And as I've mentioned earlier also, I feel the dark blue color looks a lot better. But again, that's sort of a fingerprint magnet. Because of this white color, the fingerprints are not visible. So again, it's a personal choice. I personally like the dark blue color. But anyways, let's also look at the camera. The rear facing camera is a 13 megapixel shooter. Again, as you can see, the layout is very Spartan, and not a lot of things are going on. Also, if you go to the modes, we just have the basic auto and the panorama mode, and you can just tap in and take the picture. It is fairly fast to focus. And I've taken some sample shots, so let me actually show you that. And in outdoor conditions, as expected, the camera performs very well in my opinion, and the color accuracy is also very good. And the HDR mode also works very well. This is without HDR and this is with HDR. But again, as it does not have OIS, you have to be careful, otherwise there can be quite a bit of camera shake. It's also decent in artificial lighting, but again, there is a little bit of noise in the picture, though the flash works very well. One more interesting thing that I liked about this camera, and that's the highlighting point about this one, is the front facing camera actually has two sensors. One is a 8 megapixel and second is a 2 megapixel shooter. And if you go over here, by default it's on the single camera, but you can enable the dual camera. And now the dual cameras are enabled, but let me actually show you how this works using this sample. For example, I've taken some shots using this dual camera setup, and let's go to the gallery. Let's go to the camera. For example, I took some selfies. Let's look at those. For example, as you can see, if it's a dual one, you get this icon. And let's just open this one. Let me actually give you an idea. As it's and it gives you two options, that is blur or cutout. Let me actually show you the blur option first. And if you click that, and now actually you can see that bokeh effect, and you can control it using this one. Right now there's no bokeh, but I can increase that. So you can, and I want this to be in focus, so you can tap over there. So you can get very good, those bokeh effects easily using this one. You can even control the depth. So actually this shot looks actually a lot cooler. So you can adjust that stuff using this one. So it works actually very well in my opinion. Another thing that I've noticed is that this is called this cutout option. And now it will automatically trace you out. And if you press next, as you can see, it took you out. Now you can add backgrounds and stuff. And for example, I don't have a lot of photographs, but let's do this. As you can see, now I have to rotate this, and now you can put your photograph here. So you can do all sorts of stuff like this, and we can view that now. So as you can see, this was not done well, but if you have time, again, to give you an idea, you can play around with this option. So that is the basic thing with this dual camera setup. So guys, that's it for now for this unboxing and overview for this Lenovo Vibe S1. If you have any specific questions around this device, do post them in the YouTube comments and I'll try to include them in my review. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video.